Hello and welcome to the Smart Clinic. Today we're going to go through a short demonstration and tutorial for how to use your admin client area so that you can get the absolute most out of the service and use all of the functionality available to you. So to start off with, let's have a look at how to log in. So if you visit our website, which is www.smartclinic.com, and then click on the Client Area button in the top right-hand corner. You'll see here there are two options, the Staff Area and Admin Area. The Staff Area is for all of your general workforce so that they can log in to their client area and use some of the self-referral services. For the benefit of today, we're talking about the Admin Area. That's the section of the client area that gives you administrative permissions such as making referrals and managing staff lists. So if you click on the login button, that will take you to the next step. If this is a service that you're going to be using regularly, I would recommend that you bookmark this page, the client.smartclinic.com/admin page. This means that you don't need to visit the website every single time you want to log in. When you signed up to be a client with us, if you have done already, then you'll receive your login details. This will be your email address, and it will ask you to create your password in the first instance. We know what your login username is, but we won't know what your password is, so if you're unsure, just use the Forgotten Password tool to reset it. Using those credentials, select Login, and it will take you to the next login page. If you manage multiple accounts, for example, you've got several businesses, or you're a multi-academy trust with several schools, then you'll be able to manage several accounts at once. You'll see them all listed here. If, of course, you only manage one account, you'll only see one here. For the benefit of today, we're going to look at the demo company. So once you've selected the organisation that you'd like to choose, click Login, and it will take you to your home page. You'll also see from the home page there's this top banner or bar that has the various different options available to you. These should read Staff List, Services, Reports and Usage, Resources, and Admin Settings. For the benefit of today, we're going to focus on the Staff List, Services, Reports and Usage, and Resources sections. So let's start off with the Staff List. When you began your account with us, you quite possibly will have sent us a staff list, or we may have asked you to send us a staff list. Alternatively, you can of course upload the staff list directly onto your client area yourself, whichever is your preference. With staff lists, we typically need first name, surname, email address, and their date of birth. There are a few other data fields such as mobile number or their title that you can add as well, but these are only optional. On your staff list section, you'll be able to see up here where it says active staff, how many people you have active currently on your staff list, and also what your staff list capacity is. On this account, you can see our capacity is 10 staff, and we currently have 9 staff registered. You can also see from the Archived Staff tab that we've also had 2 previous staff who've left the organisation, and therefore we have archived them. You can add new members of staff by selecting the Add Staff button and filling in the information here. You can also archive existing members of staff by selecting who you need to remove and clicking the Remove Staff button. This will automatically take them to your archived staff list. If you've archived somebody by accident, you can very quickly restore them by selecting them and clicking Activate Staff. It's very important to keep your staff list as up to date as you can do, because when a member of staff leaves, they will have access to their account until you remove them from the staff list and say otherwise. When they go onto the archive list, we still keep a hold of their records for future usage in case we ever need it, but it will limit their permissions and it will mean that they can no longer access the services available to them. It'll also free up some space on your account, so if you've paid for a package where you've got a fixed amount of people, it will give you spare capacity to add any new staff members if you need to. You can see currently we have one available because we have 9 out of 10 staff activated. If you do have any issues with your staff list, or you need us to do a mass upload for you at any point, for example, you've got 100 new starters or something like that, please do get in touch with our client team and we'll be happy to help you wherever we can. The next section to have a look at is the Services tab. This is probably the most comprehensive of the sections. Here this will show you all of the services that you've got access to. It'll also give you information on whether the service is included for free as part of the subscription or whether it's a paid add-on. In this particular instance, all of the services are included, but if they're not, you will get a little red notification that tells you that using this service will incur an additional charge. Most of these services are what we would call management referral services. The most commonly used one of these is the Occupational Health Assessment, or the Pre-Placement Assessment, or sometimes the Musculoskeletal Assessment. If you're unsure of what an Occupational Health Assessment is, please do get in touch with us or consult our website. We'll be happy to give you some more information. A musculoskeletal assessment is very, very similar to an occupational health assessment, only it's conducted with a physiotherapist rather than an occupational health nurse. That aside, the service remains the same. We'll still book an appointment with one of your members of staff, assess their fitness to work, produce a report, and send that report to you, giving advice on how to manage that employee. A musculoskeletal assessment should really only be used for any muscular or skeletal conditions. Common examples include things like broken bones, a bad back, or muscle strains. If you're unsure which assessment to use, please do get in touch with our client team and they'll be happy to advise you or refer you onto the clinical team for some further advice. We do also triage all of our referrals, so if we think that there's a solution better fitted to your requirements, we will get in touch and let you know. For example, if we think an occupational health assessment will be better done as a musculoskeletal assessment. Most of these self-referral services, most of these management referral services work the exact same way. So the benefit of this demonstration, we're only going to go through one of the services, which in this instance is an occupational health assessment, given that that's the most commonly used one. So to make a referral for an occupational health assessment, select that and it will take you to a step-by-step process. It's very important to remember to save it using this save button here at any stage, because if you come away from the browser, close your browser down, or your internet crashes, it's going to be difficult for us to recover the referral. Sometimes we can and sometimes we can't, but if you click the save icon, it will definitely be saved. So if you think the referral is going to take you a long time, or you're going to go away and come back to it, don't forget to click save. If you click withdraw, it will remove you from the process altogether. So to begin an occupational health referral, click on the start button. Initially, it will give you lots of information about what's involved in the assessment and in the referral process. We're currently offering information about COVID-19 as well, but hopefully this won't remain for too long. Next, you can have a look at which member of staff you would like to make a referral for. Hopefully this will be somebody who's already on your staff list, but if not, you can add a member of staff by selecting the Add tool here. If it's somebody who you know is already on the staff list, you can start typing their name here. In this instance, we're going to refer somebody called Mr. Awesome Sauce. We do always ask that you discuss the referral with the employee prior to making it. We don't need consent up front nor a signed consent form, but it is very important that you have the discussion with the employee first. If you've not yet had the discussion, you can click Not Yet, and there will be a copy of a letter that you can download here and send that letter to the employee. This gives them a little bit of information about what to expect from an occupational health referral. Once you've discussed the referral with the employee, it will then ask you whether you would like us to obtain consent on your behalf or whether you would like to upload a signed consent form. In most instances, our clients prefer us to get consent on their behalf because it eliminates the need for any printing of forms, signing or scanning in. It means that we can do it digitally for you. If, however, you would like to get written consent for any reason, perhaps a member of staff's not very computer literate, then do let us know and we'll send you a paper copy of the form for the member of staff to sign. If you select No, please get consent on my behalf, then we'll do the rest for you and we'll get in touch with a member of staff to obtain consent and then hopefully book the appointment with them. The next few steps will give you a little bit of information about what to expect and confirm the details for both you and your member of staff. If you've completed the referral before, it will remember your details from previously and it won't ask you to input data again. So in this particular instance, I've not made a referral before because this is a test account. Confirm that your details are correct, because this is where we will send the report to when we successfully complete it. So it's very important that this email address is correct. It will also be the same email address that you use to log in. You can, of course, choose whether you would like to add any further recipients. This is quite a commonly asked thing. For example, you may wish to add a line manager to the report, or you may have a generic email address such as an HR@ or an info@ email address who should also receive a copy of the report. If that's the case, select yes. If not, you can select no and carry on. We will also ask you some administrative information for the member of staff. This is so that we can get a little bit of information on what their job role involves and also some background about their health history and that sort of thing. We'll also ask some administrative information so that we can ensure that we get in contact with them at the right place. We'll ask a little bit of information about their job role and some of their routine work activities. We will also ask if the role is safety critical. If you're unsure what that means, please do get in touch, but typically we're talking about roles that have physical risks associated with them, such as operating machinery, working at heights, night working, or working with asbestos. In most instances, the answer to this will be no. We will also ask you for a summary of your reason for referral. This is something that you can report on at a later date. It's really helpful for you this, so please do make sure that you select the right option for this, because once you've made several referrals, you can produce a report to see what the commonly used reasons for occupational health are. We will ask you a little bit more information here as well. Again, this is very important to try and complete this with as much information as possible so that we, as your occupational health provider, can understand why you're making a referral and what you're trying to achieve. For example, it might be that you're looking for further information on a member of staff's current illness and whether it's likely to recur in the future. Similarly, a member of staff could have been off for for a long time and you're looking for advice on how to manage that absence going forwards. Either way, the more clues you can give us here, the better the report is going to be for you. We will also ask for a health history from the member of staff. As much information as you're able to provide here would be helpful, but of course we don't expect that you'll know everything, so just as much as you're able to provide is absolutely fine here. Same goes for any medical certificates. Anything that you know is helpful, but if you're not able to provide a comprehensive history, that's fine, just let us know. It is also helpful for us to understand any useful background. For example, if they had any recent job changes or adjustments made that might affect their ability to work or the risks involved with their work environment. This isn't always relevant and there may not be anything to put here, but if there is, it's a good opportunity to do so. If not, just put not applicable. The same goes for any support available at work. There may or may not be support available. If there's not, that's absolutely fine. If there is, again, it's useful for us to know. This means that we're not going to be recommending any reasonable adjustments that you aren't able to provide or that you wouldn't deem to be reasonable. It just helps us to ensure that the report that we provide to you is as helpful as it possibly can be. This is a further COVID-19 question. This won't last forever and will go eventually, but currently we're just asking for what organisations have put in place for their COVID-19 risk assessments. If we already have a copy of your risk assessment, that's absolutely fine. You can just say, please see risk assessment. We will also conduct the appointment wherever possible using your preferred means of either telephone or video. We have our own smartphone app which clients can use, or sometimes we also use things like Zoom video or FaceTime or WhatsApp. Alternatively, we can just do appointments by telephone. We don't guarantee to use the methods that you've requested here, but we will certainly try, and in 9 times out of 10 we will adhere to what you've asked us to do. The few instances where we can't do are, for example, if a member of staff doesn't have a device with video capability. In that instance, we'll come back to you and check that a telephone appointment is all right, and then proceed with a telephone appointment. And then finally, before submitting the referral, it will give you the option to ask us up to 6 questions. This is very important, this section, so please do think very carefully about what questions you would like to ask us, because these are the questions that will appear on the report. We have some of the more commonly asked questions templated for you already, but we do also have the option for you to put in a free text question as you require as well. We will do our best to answer these questions as best as we can, assuming of course that they are appropriate and they're within our skill set. And we'll also endeavour to give you comprehensive and helpful answers to these questions within the context of anything else that you've included within the referral and of course the assessment that we've conducted with the member of staff. And that's it. That's your occupational health referral ready to be submitted. Just before we do press the submit referral, because this is quite an important step, when you press submit, that then sends the referral to us. At that stage, the record is created. This does form part of an occupational health record, which may be accessible by the member of staff should they ever conduct a subject access request, which is a legal obligation. Or if the case ever went to tribunal, we may be asked to provide these records. So whilst we won't routinely display them to a member of staff, it is important to know that these records are discoverable, so please ensure you're never including anything within the referral that you wouldn't want the member of staff to see or to know about. Once you're happy with the referral, press submit, and that's it. Your job is done. And that concludes the services section. There are several of other services available to you, but they all work in much the same way. Some have slightly shorter referral questionnaires than what we've just been through. So the reason that we went through that is so that you can see everything. The next section to go through is the reports and usage section. There are several things available to you. Particularly, there's a section that shows you how much the services have been used. Now please bear in mind this is only a demo account, so the data here is not real, and yours may well look very different to this. But this shows you a combination of how much you have used the service for things like occupational health assessments, as well as how much one of your members of staff has used the service. For example, you can see here that one person has access to the cognitive behavioural therapy service. This is something very useful and worth checking back on frequently to see how well your service is being used. Because if usage is particularly low, it may be that you wish to do an internal promotion within your organisation just to remind staff that the service is available to them. There's also a cases section which shows you details of all of the ongoing cases that we've currently got. You can see the case that we've just set up, that we've made a referral for, was for Mr. Awesome Source, case ID 21814. And it's for an occupational health assessment, and of course the case is currently open. We know that because we've just made the case. You also have a Documents tab, which shows you copies of all the previous referrals that have been made, as well as any reports that have been created and sent to you. Sadly, there's nothing available here in this particular account, but once you make a referral to us and we write a report, that report will be available to you here. You can also download the copies of the referral receipts from this same section by selecting the Receipts option. If we click Download here, for example, this will display a copy of the referral that we've just made. This is very useful for you if ever you need to refer back to this in the future and check what you've told us and what records are kept on file. And then finally, you've got a section called Referral Breakdown. These are automatically created statistics that show you what the most common reason for referrals are. It should help you at a later date once you've collected a little bit of data so that you can see what the more commonly used services and reasons for referral are within the occupational health assessment services. And that's the end of the reports and usage section. And the final section within your client area that we're going to go through today is the Resources tab. As the name suggests, this gives you access to a whole wealth of resources available to you under your current subscription. This will only show you things that are included and things that you're available to access. It'll also show you things relevant to your organisation type. For example, businesses will have a little bit of business information, schools will have education-specific information. This particular account is set up as a school, so you can see here we have information such as a school toolkit. There are also copies of posters that you can download, templated letters, and video tutorials such as this one. There are also other interesting videos and podcasts that you can share with the management team, as well as with your colleagues or members of staff. And there are further sets of information, downloads, and helpful resources down the bottom here. It's worth checking in on this section periodically because we're always updating it with current and relevant information, including any hot topics or promotions that we have going on at any given time. So definitely worth checking in here once in a while. And that concludes all of the major sections. You do also have a settings tab, which you can use to have a look at your current settings, such as your email address and things like that. And up in the top corner here, this circular arrow gives you the opportunity to switch companies very quickly without logging in and logging out. For example, if you're managing multiple companies. And that's everything within the tutorial today. If you have any questions or you would like anything covered in any more detail, please do get in touch. Our email address is hello@smartclinic.com and our telephone number is 0800 862 0142. We really look forward to working with you and thank you so much for watching. Take care.